Straya, how are you going? Hang on, you right? I hope so. Why is that, Jim? Well, you should be. It's a Monday, isn't it? I guess. February 24. I'm your host, James Clements. I'm here in Larry Armour Studios to wrap up a big weekend for you. But the biggest thing, we got another Aussie in the NBA. You beauty. That's right, Taran Armstrong is off on a two-way to the Golden State Warriors. You love to see that. So we'll break all this down in the news and the weekend winners and losers. Pop might not coach again this season. Joel Embiid might get shut down. What a surprise. Anyway, we've got all of that. We've got That's Not a Knife, Oh Mate, No Mate's Better Than the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball. We've got Dickhead of the Week. We've got Magic Tweet of the Weekend. There's Nars from some listeners. We've got the Unpopular Opinion of the Day and Outback Takehouse. There's an Andrew Gaze Grand Mumber Award. The Australian Player Watch and a pick and preview for tomorrow's games. That should be fun. So, without further ado, let's get into it. A very sore Jim lobbing in for episode 1211 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya. You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
Ah, you better watch out for the Aussie attack. That's right, we've got another one there. Look out. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Show with the Daily. It's a whip round. Usually it's just me whinging about how much I hurt. And that is no different because after another game of pub cricket yesterday, every part of me is just very sore. Geez, Jim, is that the 87 beers you also had? Yes, but shush. Let an old man complain. No, Taran Armstrong is off to the Warriors on a two-way. You'd love to see this. It's got reported this morning from Shams. You might remember he finished off the NBL season extremely well with a triple-double. The first one I think we've had, a 25-plus point triple-double since LaMelo. That was pretty cool. He's averaged, 17 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists this season. Improved his three-point shot as well. He's up to 35%. So, I'll talk about Taran Armstrong a little bit later, but he's awesome. I've just got a lot of time for Taran Armstrong, so I'm stoked that he's with the Warriors. It's good to see his family and friends come out there, and even better, it was very cool to sort of see the sort of, the dream journal of his come true, where it's like, I'm going to make the NBA when I grow up. And it's like, that's just bloody good. Good on you, Taran Armstrong. So he's off to the Warriors. We'll talk about that again in a second, but it's very, very cool. I'm excited for him. Joel Embiid, right-row. Going to cover your ears, Sixers fans? I don't know, sort of just want to buy him a beer and just tell him to settle down. At the same time, Sixers fans, they're probably Eagles fans as well. They just won the bloody Super Bowl. So just, this entire season is just a write-off at this point. So just give it up. But Joel Embiid and the Sixers are consulting doctors, apparently considering alternative options, including surgery for his injured left knee at the moment. They've looked for progressive sort of betterment of his condition, but because he's sort of playing through it and getting regular injections and stuff, there's been no improvement, and they're just like, oh, God. So he's going to go through a couple more tests this week, and then they're going to try to figure out the best way forward for the big fella. I.e., we're so far behind in the standings, Joel, it's probably best if you just go under the knife again and just sit this one out, big fella. Because this has been the absolute horror show of all horror shows for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. Furthered today as well. Well, yesterday, right? Was it when they lost to the Nets? It was hilarious. It's like, what are you doing? Anyway, they are currently in the 12th seed. They're 20-36. They are 1.5 games out of the play-in still. They're sitting there going, we're still good, we're good. And it's just like, just give it up. You're cooked, mate. You're cooked. In better injury news, we did get the report today that Don DiVincenzo and Julius Randle Both could be back for the Wolves on this 4-game road trip that they're on. Pretty good. They were 10-4 with Randall before he got injured. They won 5 on the trot. But obviously, this is just more about having, I don't know, healthy bodies and depth as they sort of head towards the playoffs. But mostly, it's about trying to get this entire Wolves team to coalesce and be vaguely consistent down the stretch, which they haven't been all year. So, hopefully, if you're a Wolves fan, that actually happens. And the other one was Greg Popovich, one of the Mount Rushmore NBA coaches, obviously might not coach again this year after his mild stroke back in November. So it's like apparently he's still recovering, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't sound great because it's one of those things where you're like, Popovich is also like fairly old. He's like 76. And I kind of think at some point, despite being like really smart and really good, 76 is just really, really old. Right? So, yeah, it might be just a bit of if that happens, it'd be a really, really sad end to an amazingly illustrious career. So I would like to see him get it back out there for a little bit, but yeah, when you're 76, man, stuff just gets bloody hard. Anyway, there you go. Now, we're not going to fly through the game reps and stuff because, I mean, this is the sort of new approach we're going to take on NBA Straya. Not so much focus on what has already happened, but today we got some cracking games. Over the weekend, there were some really good ones as well. But I'll tell you what, Philly losing to Brooklyn was hilarious. You had the Denver Nuggets Lakers game where Luka was awesome. And then Andre Iguodala got his jersey retired. And amazingly enough, Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka were both at the Chase Center for that. Obviously, Nico Harrison because his Dallas Mavericks were playing the Golden State Warriors. Rob Pelinka because he's Iguodala's former manager. And also, I just assume just for laughs at this point, he's just like, hey, Nico. Remember when you traded me Luka Doncic for like a busted-ass Anthony Davis, you dummy? Like, that's just good shit talking. I'm here for it. Like, if you have one up on your mates, like, you bring it up all the fucking time. Shit, yes. I love that. Anyway, so that's all the games from the weekend. Today we got an awesome Knicks and Boston game. That was really fun. The Knicks, though, just rough weekend for them. We'll talk about that in a second. Phoenix are just falling apart as well. They lose in Toronto. Milwaukee, Miami was fun. I'll tell you what, Zion looked really good for the Pelicans as they beat up San Antonio. And then we got two crackers at the end of the day. It was a Memphis-Cleveland was really, really, really fun. And OKC Minnesota was an absolute cracker. It was just like it's a game of runs, NBA. So without further ado, let's get into weekend winners and losers.
Oh my God. I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is me.
There
Ken
you go. All right, weekend winners. We're going to do 5 of each from here on out. 5 weekend winners, 5 weekend losers. And unfortunately, this week is just real bloody obvious and it's very annoying because the Los Angeles Lakers are one of the weekend winners, right? They break their 8-game losing streak to the Nuggets, concurrently breaking the Denver Nuggets 9-game winning streak just in general. Without Anthony Davis, they suddenly are just smothering Nikola Jokic. They're double team, triple teams. His post touches are rubbish. He made only 2 shots. It was insane. They were so good. Luka was amazing. LeBron is great. Rui played an incredible game. And I hate it. I hate it so much that the Lakers look this good. It is, without a doubt, some absolute utter bullshit. Oh, Jim, you just say that because you're a Lakers hater. Yes. I just want to give the other team some shine. And now they've got fucking Luka Doncic. What are we doing? Anyway, but they are the weekend winners. They looked impressive. So did the Boston Celtics. Jeez, Jim, you're really going out on a branch here. Yeah, but they were so good the way they dismantled the Knicks today. So I had a shit night, sort of trying to, sleep, wake up again. And you're like, this is just absolutely fucking brutal. Anyone with kids is just like nodding along sagely going, yes, Jim, that's right. But Tatum was incredible. So I'm watching a bit of this as headphones in. I'm like, Jesus, this is just like an NFL Monday for you, mate, Jim. just on the iPad, on the side in bed, headphones in, try not to wake up old mate. 25, 10 and 9 for Tatum. He was awesome. Brown was really good as well. And they just fucking dismantled the Knicks. They're now 3-0 against the Knickerbockers this season. And like that was my big thing going into the year. It's like this should be fun. They are built to have a fucking crack at the Celtics. And then they just keep laying eggs. Karl Anthony Towns looked like he got hurt, but he came out again later. Came back out onto the floor, rather. And it's like one of those things that, God, Jesus. Just wrap him up in cotton wool. Here's one for you, though. The Detroit basketball Pistons, my beloved Pistons. The defense is still wonky as all fucking get out, but they keep winning. They've won 6 on their trot. I love it. They hold on in Atlanta despite trying to fucking just shoot themselves in the foot time and time and time again. They've won 6 straight. They're in the 6th seed still in the East. It's awesome. They're 31-26. I think that's their first 6-game winning streak since 2014-15. It's a decade ago. What are we doing, Detroit? This is awesome. But most of all, I watched that Detroit-Atlanta game. It's Trae Young versus Cade Cunningham, and it fucking rocked. Like, it was so good. Cade is legit. And this is why they're weekend winners, because they have a dude. It's so hard in the NBA. It's like, what is he? Is he a super duper star dude you can build a team around, or is he a guy? And this is a dude, right? So, and then you can just have like a normal bloke. I don't know, but he is a dude. He's Cade Cunningham. Like, Duran's coming along nicely. You get Ivy back at some point from his busted leg. And, you know, role players, shooters, bit of defense, and you'll be fucking laughing. But the cool thing is, they're just kind of fun because Cade's that good. So I love that. And here's another one that you probably didn't expect. Portland. That's right, the Portland Trailblazers. Franchise record win over the Hornets. They beat them like a Cherokee drum. Do you remember that line from The Rock in Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw? I'm going to beat you like a Cherokee drum. It's like, okay, The Rock. I also just love the Blazers in general. Why is that, Jim? Well, they've sort of just kept on keeping on, right? They're only 24-33. They're probably not going to make the play-in. They're like 5 games back of the Kings. And we'd have to jump like the Spurs and the Suns, etc. But they're just kind of janky and fun, right? And if you can beat a team by a franchise record 53 points, even if they are as destitute and as shithouse as the current day Charlotte Hornets, who, if you're watching on YouTube, wearing their hat right now, I love this hat too. Got it the other day. They are just fun. Portland just have like these weird bits and bobs. Like, it's just such a weird, fun team. Well, you've got Donovan Clingy, you've got Danny Avdija, you've got Scoot Henderson, you've got Anthony Penny, Simon, Shaden Sharp. There's enough electricity and just a weird, janky vibe to them that I'm kind of just fucking loving now. It's very cool. And yeah, we'll dig into the numbers at some point, but Jesus. Anyway, Golden State is the final weekend winner. Oh, geez, Jim again out on the limb. Yeah, look, that's their first 3-game win streak since November. Jimmy Butler has just given them another fulcrum, right? Like, to play alongside Steph. Steph loves it. There's another offensive threat out there. But the crazy thing is, he's averaging more free throw attempts than like the next 2 Warriors put to fucking together. So he's given their entire like offense another facet that they just did not have. They're 5-1 with Jimmy Butts after they kicked the shit out of the Mavs today. They're now 30-27 overall. They're only a half game out of the 8th spot. They're only 1 game out of the 7th spot. They're only 2 games out of 6th. The Warriors also add Taran Armstrong. That's why they're a weekend winner, because they got an Aussie. Yes, he's from the Cairns Taipans, but we won't hold that against him, will we? But that's awesome. The Warriors just look fun. And like, you know, retiring Andre Iguodala's jersey number, that's just good basketball karma as well. It's like, yeah, but he's a finals MVP, Jim. It's like, yeah, LeBron should have won that finals MVP. I don't care that he lost. It's like Iguodala held him to 33 fucking 12-12 a game. 38, 12-12. Anyway, still, Golden State Warriors, definitely weekend winners. How about some losers?
We're not losers! No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys.
Losers.
Shut up!
Losers.
Loser.
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 Loser. All right, let's do it. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City. It's like, hey, we've pieced together this team with all these defensive wings. Oh, fuck. Boston still keep kicking the shit out of us. It's like, yeah, we've got OG Anunoby, we've got Josh Hart, we've got Jalen Brunson, you got Mikal Bridges, got Karl Anthony Towns, and it doesn't matter. The problem is, they also keep losing to all the other good teams. So, I'll get to this at the very end of these weekend losers, but the top 3 teams in the league are the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Thunder. The New York Knickerbockers are 0-7 against those 3 teams this year, so that's not good. They've lost by 23, 27, 13, 6, 37, 10, and 25 in those 7 games against these top-notch actual contenders. That's an average losing margin of 20. Not only are they losing, they're getting their fucking heads kicked in. They don't scare anyone good. They're just beating teams below them, and it's a bit janky. The same thing's kind of going on with Denver as well. Like that big run that they've gone, I think they're like 14-2 in their last little bit, but like only 2 of those teams have come against like actual playoff contenders. Anyway, but the Knicks, like it's the one thing where you keep watching this and go, oh, are they good? And then some nights they look amazing and then they play a good team and you're like, they're just not very good at all. Philly, your weekend losers, of course they are. They lose to the Nets on a fucking buzzer beater from Nick Claxton. Yeesh. Also, they lost to the Nets. What are you doing? That's amazingly horrible. That was with their big 3, he says, inverted commas, playing as well. That's 7 straight losses now for the Sixers. It's just a shit show. They are an absolute mess. Now they're looking at treatment plans for Joel Embiid's knee. This is a disaster. Daryl Morey has completely galaxy brained himself into maybe one of the worst situations in the NBA, where you've got 70% of your cap tied up into 2 giant monster supermax contracts, and they both might be cooked. Everybody, just a standing O for Daryl Morey. He's smarter than everybody. You don't understand. He's never won shit. He's not even made the fucking finals. What are we doing here? He's like, oh, we need stars. He's like, Paul George is fucked, mate. What are you doing? The next one is Phoenix. Oh, there's beauty in the struggle, says Kevin Durant. Is there, Kevin? Is there? Is there beauty in being 1.5 games out of the fucking 10 seed? Is there beauty in that? I don't know that there is. I'm just saying. I think that might be a bit shithouse, in fact. It's not so much beauty. It's like, I don't know. The squid took a massive dump the other day and I don't know, it took me 15 minutes to clean it up, right? He's sort of like, Dad, I need to poo. And I'm like, oh, God, buddy. He's like, I did a poo in a nappy. I'm like, oh, geez. He's like, I still want to go on the potty. And I'm like, this reminds me of the Phoenix Sun season. 15 minutes it took me to clean it up. It was quite literally a shit show. There you go. Houston are my next losers. They're 3-7 their last 10. They're just all over the shop. They're not exactly losers, but they've dropped from the 2-3 spots in the West down to 5. That's suddenly not having home court in a first round. And like when you're this young and the defense is this hard to and we're seeing it, right? Defense is hard to maintain like 100% of the time with your offense also sort of clicking when you're this young. And it's why you see this, the inconsistency of Houston when they're getting players back, they're losing players again, and it's just like this sort of back and forth. And it's really hard to just sort of go, well, we're going to hang our hat on our defense. It's like, yeah, but if you're this young and Jalen Green is still one of your dudes, like it gets pretty fucking hard, right? I still love this Rockets team. I still think they're a fun first round team in the playoffs. I just want to see them give someone a run for their money. And I feel like they've got just enough time to get all pointed back in the right direction. But yeah, you want them to have home court, wouldn't you? And then finally, Chicago/Brooklyn, the combined losers. Because the Bulls are kind of trying to win but can't. And the Nets aren't trying to win but keep on winning. And suddenly the Brooklyn Nets, who it's like their roster is a smoking crater rather than an actual basketball roster at this point. and they are like a half game out of the play-in behind the Chicago Bulls and ahead of the Sixers, who are trying desperately to make the playoffs. It's like, that's not how you tank Brooklyn. They're like, we don't care. The basketball gods will reward us. It's like, okay, will they? I hope so. Anyway, and Chicago is just an absolute tire fire. Josh Giddey will get to this in the Australian player, which has been crushing it, but geez. And a bonus loser, everybody except for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Cleveland Cavaliers, that's right. Cleveland, oh yes. Cleveland! And the Boston Celtics. Why is that, Jim? Well, the title goes through them because they've all won 40 games before losing 20. So your weekend losers are everybody else in the NBA. Because this is the old Phil Jackson corollary, right? If you win 40 games before you lose 20, you are a genuine certified contender. Because 37 of the last 41 NBA titles, that is rung true, 40 games won before losing 20. They're the only three who have done it. OKC, Cleveland, and Boston. So Memphis losing today, Denver losing. Those were and the Knicks obviously as well. They're the teams who were there, maybe a bit of a chance. It's 27 teams on the outside looking in, apparently without a chance to win the title. So, tough one. All right, let's do an NBA Australia approved performance of the weekend.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Luka Doncic against the Nuggets. Pretty good. 32, 10, and 7. His first 30-point game as a Laker. Gross. Tatum versus the Knicks. As mentioned, hot damn, it was a good game. Should have been a triple-double. His second straight. He had 25, 10, and 9. Cade versus Trey was absolutely awesome as well today. Cade ends up with 38, 7, and 12. Trey with a 38, 2, and 13. It was just great fun. Those two going back and forth, having a crack was a ripper. And then the other, Tyler, there goes my hero, had 40. They lose, though. But also, I think I tweeted out just SGA is unfair. We had this awesome Thunder Wolves game at the end of today. Thunder win at 130, 123. They're 46 and 10. That's an insane pace. Like, this is like the 15 Warriors kind of stuff, right? Wolves dropped to 31 and 27. Scrappy year continues, but this game was sort of back and forth, back and forth. It was like, a 19-2 run, a 38-6 run, I think the Wolves went on. The Thunder pulled it all the way back in. They were down like 87-80. They run right back into them. They get back up. Wolves get back up. Thunder get back up. And SGA sort of comes back on the fourth quarter, and he ends up with 37, 8, and 8 with 3 steals and 3 blocks, right? Shoots 13 and 24, 3 or 6 from downtown. The way that he sort of like fed the other players on that Thunder team, the barrage of threes that got them back up and into this game and then ahead was remarkable. Aaron Wiggins goes 4 of 4 from deep. You have Isaiah Joe hitting threes. You've got Caruso hitting some massive threes late as well. He ends up with the 11 points. He's a plus 18 in 24 minutes. It was awesome, but it was all because SGA was either creating them or just like everybody's freaking out about where he was. And he had this massive, awesome transition dagger three where you're like, Jesus, don't do it to him, SGA. So I think that might have been the most improved one. The most impressive approved performance of the weekend because Ant-Man just couldn't keep up. He ends up 8 of 21, got another tech, which is his 14th of the season, so he's got to be pretty bloody careful he doesn't get suspended. He's in Draymond territories at this point. He's got more techs than anybody else. Anyway, that was a good one. It was an awesome game. So good job by SGA. Spud of the weekend. Spud. Spud it is Spud of the night. Oh, Spud of the night. I love a good Spud of the weekend. Tell you what, I feel like a bit of a Spud today. Oh, geez. Everything hurts. Getting off the couch just really hurts. We got plenty of Spuds across the weekend. 0 of 7 for Spencer Dinwiddie in that beatdown at the hands of the Warriors. Keon Ellis goes 0 of 6. Keyshawn George goes 1 of 11. We don't usually rag on the Rooks, though. But how about the entire Spurs backcourt against the Pelicans? Darren Fox, CP3, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell. They shot 6 of 45 from the floor today. 6 of 45, those dudes. Chris Paul goes 1 of 10. Stephon Castle goes 1 of 10. Vassell goes 1 of 9. Champagne. Justin, what are you doing, man? He goes 1 of 7 as well. But they got 1 of 9. Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony there for the Orlando Magic men. Jabari Smith, 1 of 8. 2 of 14 for Larry Markkinen. Jokic, as I mentioned as well, 2 of 7 shooting. Ends up with 12 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. He ends up with a Jason Kidd triple-double. And someone did point out that's like probably the most triple-doubles that have ever been on a court in NBA history when you had Jokic, Luka, Rusty, and LeBron James teeing off on each other. It was pretty fun. But an extra fun one was that LaMelo Ball went 1 of 10 and Lonzo Ball went 1 of 9. Isn't that nice? Just spudding it up as brothers. But there was also a very, very, very fun moment because we finally got someone to shoot the magic number. That's right. I would like to thank you very much, Jordan Poole. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's because he went and shot. Shield! Woo! That's right. Jordan Poole shot 311. You beauty. What a legend. Who's old mate, no mates?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Old mate, no mates. Who's got no mates today? Joel Embiid. Yeah. Even when your own commentators and your fans are just like, what is this guy doing? He's just flopping all over the joint. It's like, oh, my knee hurts. It's like, yeah, no shit, you idiot. But it's fun to sort of watch those Sixers fans just go, who can we blame now? Ben Simmons is gone. Doc Rivers is gone. I think it might have to be Joel Embiid. He's definitely feeling old mate, no matey there in Philly. It's pretty rough. Poor fucking Tyrese Maxey. That dude's just copped it. Pantsing of the night. Good to see Jarrett go the throw. Allen dunking his buddy Ja Morant. Just absolutely posterizing him. Quentin Post dunked on like all the Mavs as well. That was pretty fun. Pantsing the night as well. There was a run in that Hawks-Pistons game where Dyson Daniels, who I'm going to talk about in the Australian Player Watch, he had an awesome game. He just cranked up the defense to a level and you're like, Jesus. Like they couldn't get the ball fucking like past 2/3 of the court. He's just like, nah, I'm going to take that now. What are you doing, dickheads? He has another 4 steals. He had 24 points or whatever it was. He shot 10 of 14. He was incredible. Absolutely pants the Pistons. The problem is no one else on that fucking Hawks roster plays any defense. So he's like, wow, we gave up 148 and lost. Boy, he's also old mate, no mates. Get this man some defensive help. Jesus. Better than Bronny James, Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons?
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Jalen Clark of the Minnesota Timberwolves was awesome today. He played 18 minutes. He had 14 points and 4 steals, was causing all sorts of havoc. 2 of 2 from the three-point line, 6 of 7 from the floor overall. And then wanged his head on the floor. And it cut short his night, which sucked because he was awesome. 18 minutes. He was a plus 20 in a game they lost by 7. Jalen Clark is a weapon. Love that. But also, one of my favorites, Carlo Matkovic. That's right. Who's he play for, Jim? The Pelicans. Do you not watch much Pelicans, do you? Yeah, people don't watch much of the Pelicans. He's crushing it. He had 19, 6, and 1 today. In 21 minutes. He was a plus 17 in a game they won by 18. That was unreal. Carlo Matkovic. Carlo Makahive. Assemble. Magic tweet of the weekend. Let's do that one. Oh, yes. It's a good one, too. I'm sitting at home watching ND versus NC State women's basketball and the Celtics versus the Knicks. Thanks, Magic. Dickhead of the week. That's like I'm eating a peanut butter sandwich. It's like I'm sitting at home watching basketball. It's like, yes, good job, Magic. Dickhead of the weekend. This is Stephen A. and Perk. Stephen A. I don't believe an international player can be the face of the NBA. I know they're global, iconic figures. Their popularity extends globally, but the NBA is an American-born sport. Wait, so you're saying the international figures are global iconic figures, but can't be the face of the NBA? That's horrible. There's no other way to put it, Stephen A.
This is horrible. There's no other way to put it.
And then Perk, I mean, just why bother? He's like comparing Chet Holmgren to KG, which is what? No. Also said that the Grizzlies can't go toe-to-toe with the top teams if Ja Morant isn't playing like a superstar. Bro, that's all they've done all season. Just tell me you don't watch basketball without telling me you don't watch basketball, right? John Jackson Jr. can't be the best player in the 7-game series. I think he can. And if he is, you might win that fucking series. That's the sort of thing that gets me about this dumbing down of like basketball discourse. And NBA Straya, we try to keep it fucking lighthearted and shit, but we're all about like having fucking fun and loving basketball. I don't feel like Perk likes basketball. Like, Jaren Jackson can't be your best player in a 7-game series. Ja Morant needs to be that guy. No, Jaren Jackson could be your best player in a fucking series. And if he is, I think you stand a better chance of winning it because he gives more fucking effort on defense. If Ja Morant's like far and above everything else, it's like, okay, what else is he doing? Whereas Triple J can give you absolutely everything. And if he is fucking playing at 125%, you're laughing. Just saying. But yes, in a surprise twist, Kendrick Perkins, dummy. Yeah. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And
you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do it. Let's do some yeah-nahs. I've got some listener yeah-nahs here for today. Matty Oat, he sent, hey, Jim, could he be most improved? Yeah, nah. And it was just a picture of Cade Cunningham. Yeah, nah. Look, you know how I stand. That's bait, first of all. I still don't think you should win most improved player of the year if you're a top 5 pick. It's like, you're expected to be that fucking good. Like, even if you went from here to here, that's like natural projected trajectory. Whereas like someone like Dyson Daniels, who's 6th pick, is like, just at a point where he finally gets some run and he's like taking a huge leap, right? To a degree where you're like, he might win Defensive Player of the Year. And if you ask me, he fucking should. So, yeah. I don't know, man. He was the 8th pick as well, Dyson, not 6th. Gids was 6, Dyson was 8. And that's kind of it, right? Like, but Cade Cunningham is making a pretty bloody good case about like actually being the most improved player, but it feels like he was kind of always that dude. And he just kept getting derailed by these fucking injuries and then like always rehabbing. He's like a couple of years in now, number 1 overall pick. He's been fucking fantastic. I've loved it. I've loved the Cade Cunningham experience this year. Could it be most improved? I mean, the way fucking the NBA just, has no idea what this award is. Maybe. Yeah. But is he? Nah. It's Dyson Daniels, mate. It's Dyson Daniels. That's why I hate the Norm Powell one as well. It's like Norm Powell's just doing the exact same thing he's ever done. He's just got even more of a green light. And he's starting now, right? Anyway, Zachy B. This is a good one. Bit of a tough one for you. Yeah, nah. Charlotte in the next 5 years, they are los horribles. It is a tough one. They just got their heads kicked in by Portland. By 50 fucking 3 points. I'm wearing their hat. I don't want them to be Los Horribles. The NBA is way more fun when the Charlotte Hornets are a fun, wildly entertaining team, right? With those throwback uniforms, the pinstripes, it's all awesome. With LaMelo, with Brandon Spindles Miller, they just need to fuck off that shitbird Miles Bridges and away we go, right? They get Mark Williams back as well. But the fact that they came out and then punked the Lakers in that game the other day, which is awesome, and then lose by 53 to the fucking Blazers is hilarious. But the problem is, their depth seems pretty fucky. 5 years is a long time, though. So if they get like a half-decent shot at the top of the lottery this year, and like the lottery odds work in their favor, only 2-3 years they should be like decent. Like this year, I thought I was like going the over for Charlotte, and then as soon as LaMelo goes out for a little bit, and then Miller's out for the season, you're like, yeah, you pack her up, boys, you're done. But in 5 years' time, I think they should turn this around. But at the same time, that is like a basket case of a franchise, isn't it? Ben Leckie! Yeah, nah. Knicks picking up Cat might actually be the best trade of the season. Yeah, nah. That still goes to Luka. The thing is, I don't really feel like that's a trade. That's more giving Luka to the Lakers for unknown reasons. So it's not really a trade, I guess. Because I feel like the Luka trade is still going to be way more impactful for the Lakers for this year and for ongoing years. The way that Cat fit with the Knicks might be the best fitting trade, right? Because you do still feel like Luka and LeBron is going to be just a little bit wonky at times, maybe. But they're both so fucking good, it's probably not going to matter. But the way that Cat and they the Knicks very, very clearly sort of figured out what we need in our offense to sort of make it go, Cat's the guy. Their big problem is when they go up against these decent fucking teams, it all just goes to shit. So it does sort of fit. He is good. Does he have that dog in him? I don't know. I think Cat is probably the second best trade of this season. Just if you look at everything else across the board, still remember the Dennis Schroeder trade? That was hilarious. The Nets made out like bandits there. Probably could have held on to him for a bit longer and got him more. But anyway, the Cat fit was a great trade. I still think Luka's a better trade because they gave up fuck all for him. Gave up one draft pick for Luka Doncic. What are we doing? Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I feel like people are not stoked on Taran Armstrong. He's fucking good. I think he's pretty fucking good. And I think if he gets a chance to show what he can do, people sort of look at his game and go, oh yeah, kind of Josh Giddey-ish, but can shoot a bit too. He's got a nice little bit of size on him. See how he goes with the speed, though. That's going to be the thing with Taran. But I'm excited to see what happens. And that sort of leads very nicely, I guess, into Outback Takehouse. It's Monday at Outback. You know what that means? Oh, yes. We discovered a bunch of bloody bats. And we took to them with our cricket bats. Me and the squids just went bang, 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 bang. So bat wings only at Outback. That's right, deep fried bat wings. It's like chicken wings, but really crispy. And today's Flame Grilled take is... Now the Warriors have made a big addition to their roster and getting Taran Armstrong, they're going to win the bloody title. Forget Jimmy Butler. Taran Armstrong is the real missing piece. Only at Outback. This was originally going to be Taran Armstrong should take Brandon Podemski's spot. But, I don't know, that'd be nice if he did. Just saying. All right, Australian Player Watch right after we hear from Hammer.
This is Shane Heal, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Australian Player Watch. After a big weekend, it is Monday, February 24. Let's do it. Josh Giddey has been absolutely carving it up. 2 back-to-back 20-plus point games. Very nice to see against Phoenix in a pretty tough loss for the Bulls. In a repeat of the 1993 NBA Finals as well. He had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. Giddy up! He was all over it. He went 9 of 9 at the free throw line as well, which is always good to see for the Gid man. 6 of 14 from the floor, 3 of 5 from downtown. The three-point shot has been dropping. He does go through these little stretches where he's absolutely dead-eye, but you love to see that. He also had a block and 3 steals. Josh Giddey out there doing it all for this horrible Bulls team that just can't win. It's amazing. Anyway, good on you, Gids. Box Hill Betty, Ben Simmons in the loss to Indiana today, 129-111. He had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, shot 3 of 7 from the floor and 2 of 3 at the line. Not bad. In the same game, Patty Mills did not play, coach's decision. He's a vibes guy. That's completely fine. But Box Hill Benny sort of ramping back up. He's an interesting spot for them. Josh Greeny Green for the Charlotte Hornets as they got their heads kicked in by Portland to the tune of 53 points. It's a record, 141-88. Greeny had 4 points. Didn't help. 1 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 5 from 3, 1 of 1 at the line. Okay. But then he had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 turnovers. Chew for 222. Good on you, Greeny. Dyson Daniels, what a game he had against the Detroit Basketball Pistons. This game was awesome, 148-143. He was the only one playing defense, I think. He had 24 points in his 38 minutes, absolutely crushed as well. There was a point in that fourth quarter where they just basically couldn't get the ball past like 2/3 court because he's like, nah, I'm going to take that ball away from you now. Ends up with 24 points, 10 of 14 shooting for the Great Barrier Thief. Love that. 3 of 3 from 3. Free for free. 1 and 2 from the free throw line. Also 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and a block. They did lose the game, but Dyson, He's my Defensive Player of the Year. He should be yours as well. Johnny Furphy also played in that game against Box Hill, Benny, and Paddy against the Clips. He actually got out there for 3 minutes at the end. He had one foul, but zeros across the board everywhere else. Rock'em, Sock'em, Block'em, Jock'em, Landale finally got a bit of a run too in the 115-124 loss to Utah. The Rockets are just completely off the boil at the moment. He had 4 1-1, shot 1 of 3 from the floor in 11 minutes. His teammate, though, Jack McVeigh, wasn't too bad in the G League. He had 17-5-1 against the Memphis Hustle. Dante Exum, bit of a rough little stretch for him as well. They got a win over the Pelicans on the weekend, 111-103. He played 21 minutes, which is about his... He's got a bit of a time restraint on him, a minutes restriction. It's around the sort of 20 to 24 minute mark. He had 4 points in that game. He went 1 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 4 from downtown. 4 assists, though. Not bad. 2 rebounds and a block. So he did a little bit of the other things, and that's what you need from Dante Exum. That's why they got the win. And it's also what he did not do today against the Warriors, where they got their heads kicked in 126-102. He played 20 minutes. He had 5 points and 5 assists, but shot 2 of 4 from the floor, 1 of 2 from 3, and no other counting stats. So, bit of a rough one. Luke Travers wasn't up in the ones today in that awesome game against the Grizzlies, but he had 11, 3, and 5 for the the Cleveland Charge. It used to be the Canton Charge in the G League. Do up, bop, bop, do up in that same game against Josh Greeny Green. He played 11 minutes, one of his best games of the season, actually. 8 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block. Duop out there doing yeoman's work. I love this. And Alex Dukas did not get out there today in the awesome game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, but he got 3 minutes in the 130-107 win over Utah for the Thunder. He put up zeros across the board. A bit of a tough one, but you get that on the big jobs. And Jingling Joe Ingles, there was, if nothing else, a very, very funny photo posted by the Minnesota Timberwolves of Jingles with his arms around a couple of his teammates. He also copped a did not play coach's decision in that game against Dukas' Thunder today. And there you go. That is your Aussie Player Watch for Monday, February 24 with NBA Straya. And with that, let's do an Andrew Gaze Great Mamba Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
Andrew Gaze Great Mamba.
Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellent. LeBron James. Not bad. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging a 29, 9, and 8.5. Which is pretty funny because, not bad for a 40-year-old, but all his entire thing was I'm going to average a 27, 7, and 7. At the moment, he's 40, and his last 10 games, he's averaging a 29, 9, and 8.5. 66 true shooting percentage. That's insane. They're 8-2 in that run as well. So they're winning. It's amazing. Good on him. All right, how about a bit of Patty Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in? I reckon we had a good one from Jock before. Dyson Daniels there, though. Happy 21st, my brother for life. Love you, fam. At Macy Eaton. Sure. That's a nice one from Dyson, though. He's just a good dude. Just mates. And bros. How about Jock Landale? There it is. There's his story. That's gifting. Helping out the missus, I reckon, that one. Good bloke, Jock. Good bloke. All right, let's do some picks and previews for a big Tuesday. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Oh, yeah, good weekend. My cousin's birthday, and kids love that. Dress-up party, they're all over it. It was very fun. Pub cricket yesterday, didn't get the win, but, made some runs, had a few tins. Good day. But before we get into the game previews and picks, remember, you can find all of our daily picks and vibes over at Dabble. We do the walk and talk in the morning, the drop-off vibes. I've got my vibes for some of the games, but you can follow along. Every single pick that we make on this show is on Dabble as well. So you can sign up using the link in the show description or over on the social links in like the stories on Facey and IG, etc. Use the code NBA Australia to tell them we sent you. And we've got daily best multis, same game multis. I think today we had the triple, the Jimmy Butler special. So the 26 and 6, he nearly got there too. It was brutal. And then one of the other multis, I think we went for the 6 of the games against the Lion, and it missed by a half point because I think we had the Cavs minus 6.5, and they bloody won by 6. So it was a bit brutal. Breaking my heart. But either way, go check it over at Dabble, NBA Australia, follow the thing. If that's your vibe, go nuts. Click through on the link below, though. That makes sure that they know that we sent you. All right. Just trying to make sure we actually have time for a show tomorrow. We might struggle to actually get a quick Tuesday in there, but we'll see how we go. But tomorrow we've got the Clippers at Detroit. They are 1.5-point favorites on the road, the Clippers, which has been interesting because they were not very good against the Pacers team. That is very, very handy, though. So I think that's kind of the difference. The Pacers are a little bit better than Detroit. I'm going to trust the Clippers and their scoring with Harden, with Norm, with Zoobs especially to make Duren work a little bit. Let's go the Clips -1.5 on the road. Then we've got Denver at Indy. It's like an ABA special, that one, isn't it? Indy are 4.5-point underdogs against the Nuggets. Nuggets coming off that Lakers loss the other day. Indy on a back-to-back. I still don't mind Indy plus 4.5. There's an incredible stat where every time Tyrese Halliburton scores 20 points, they basically just win. So I'm going to go Indy plus 4.5. The Nuggets, that Lakers loss was a bit worrisome. They'll probably have a little bit of an easier go of it, but on the road in Indy, let's go the Pacers plus 4.5. Chicago, giddy up. They go to Philly. Now the Sixers are just a bit of a mess. No idea about the Joel Embiid situation. I'm going to go Chicago plus 3.5. I just can't trust Philly. It's just I can't trust Chicago either. But I mean, this is the double win. If Philly can get this win, they sneak back into the sort of actual playing contention. So it's pretty important. But I'll keep Chicago with the points, plus 3.5. Washington hosts Brooklyn. Another sort of weird situation, right? Washington are playing their kids. Brooklyn were just winning out of nowhere. It's very silly. It's very weird. I'm going to go Washington plus 2.5. They're still kind of feisty at times, especially at home. Miami go to Atlanta. Both teams on a back-to-back. The Heat leave me just, ironically, cold. But between Hero and Bam and co., do they have enough to get by this Atlanta team that just doesn't want to play defense, apart from Dyson? I think Miami do. Atlanta were at home for that game against Detroit. Probably should have won it at times, but Detroit hold on. Miami, I think, are a little bit tougher than Detroit, even though they're not as good. Maybe. This is a tricky one. I've got Miami for the minute. I might change my pick tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on the double link. Minnesota at OKC. It's a repeat of today's game, which is so strange, and I actually kind of love it. The back-to-back games, that's going to be fun as. So, do we actually have a line for that? Yeah, we do. It is the Thunder minus 12.5, which is pretty crazy considering how tightly these two teams played today. Might go the Wolves plus 12.5, just in case we get a big Ant-Man explosion. Then we've got Portland and Utah, which is a pretty fun one because, as I've talked about time and time again, love this Blazers team. Let's go Portland minus 2.5. And then we finish up with Sacramento hosting Charlotte, who just got their heads kicked in by 53 points to the Blazers. And the Kings will desperately need to get a win under the belt, so I'm going to go the Sacramento Kings minus 11.5. Now remember, just bang on the link. Use the code NBA Straya if you want to sign up and check all that out. The link is in the show description. It's also in the Instagram and Facey story. So there you go. Get right around it. All right, and that's it for today. We might be back tomorrow. Not entirely sure about the timing tomorrow. If it is, it'll just be a really short one where we'll just sort of fly through some stuff and set you up for Wednesday, and that'll be it. So in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Australia on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. Get around it. NFL Australia, we have, that's right, finally, the Super Bowl wrap is up. We found Gaz wandering the mean streets of Melbourne, sat him down, and talked out his Eagles winning the Super Bowl. It's pretty fun, so go check that out as well. Get around us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using on your Android phone. It does help out heaps if you rate, review, and star it, all that good stuff. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So do House Hatch, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinator, Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS, Extra Day, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on this show, so smash them all. NBA Australia supports Australian bands, so should you. All right, that's it. We will catch you very quickly, maybe tomorrow. If not, we'll catch you on Wednesday. We'll have the picks for you up on Dabble anyway, so you can see what my vibes are for each game over the next couple of days anyway. But tomorrow just might be a bit wonky, just FYI. All right, we'll catch you when we catch you, dickheads. This is NBA Australia saying, look after yourselves, would you? And let Hosanna!
I think that's ridiculous. It's hard to get into why because I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to be respectful.